Back in early May, I picked up a Sunmaid 20, and Dave Richardson and I have gone into partnership in the project of restoring her. The top of the cabin was soft. The decks were cracked and crazed, I think through a failure of a gel coat rather than paint, and the cabin floor was soft. There was a little bit of splitting away of the floor from the hull. She was covered in barnacles, and she was sitting on a trailer that a report back in 2019 said it was a very solid trailer. I somehow can't imagine that amount of damage happened in those 2 years following that date. So I set about scraping off some of the barnacles there, and contemplated whether the trailer was worth restoring. It turns out it is an original trailer that the Sunmaid was on, single axle trailer. It's only rated at 750 kilograms, and that's insufficient because the all-up weight of the boat and trailer is about 1600 kilograms. Battery was located in a very inconvenient place, and I decided to relocate that. And here you can see that I've cut the floor out in preparation for installing the new floor. I did make a bit of a mistake here. I assumed that the plywood would have run right to the edges, and I was only trying to cut the top out and replace the ply. I ended up having to replace the whole floor, which was huge. The rudder, mostly solid fiberglass. I thought it might have been full of water because it was very heavy, but it's mostly solid fiberglass, and up in this section you can see there's a bit of plywood. But because the glass is so solid and there's no flexing whatsoever there, I just put a new bush through that and covered it back up, and it'll be fine. Trailer, on further investigation, I needed to buy a new trailer, and it came with its own swagger problems, including failed bearings. When we originally tried to launch, it was just diabolically difficult, and we managed to get it off the old trailer and on the new one, and with the rollers set up very low on 13-inch wheels, it's an absolute breeze to launch and retrieve. The trailer had a almost indecipherable chassis number, but it gave me a bit of an idea about re-registering the trailer and getting it up to a 2-ton ATM. The hull is growing mushrooms. Been refilling the foam core this morning. And this is what you get, beautiful mushrooms. This is what I get up to in between boating jobs, working here with Andrew, who was a very fast learner, and I do a lot of timber floor restoration jobs. Up here, the wiring's not that bad. I've seen far worse, but still, I toyed with the idea of just using what was there, and I thought, no, I'm going to rebuild it, and this is quite good. So that you can access your depth sounder and chart plotter from the cockpit and push it back inside out of the weather. I'm going to build a box there, replace the bus bar and the switches, and replace all the fuses. So these are traditional kind of bayonet fuses, and I'll change it all over to blade fuses. And what have we got in this one here? Okay, so you've got a bus bar there. I bought a fuse panel which is all blade fuses and includes the bus bar for 12. 2 different circuits off the battery, or turned off, or run each circuit individually. I decided to go on the lithium battery journey. Lithium batteries have come down quite a bit in price. Got to be careful that you don't get a really cheap shonky one, but there are some good quality ones available at a reasonable price now. And then there's all sorts of other little bits and pieces, toys, radio. Sorry about the annoying camera technique there. The existing chart plotter was not sufficient for what I wanted to do, and so I upgraded to a Garmin, and This is the Garmin now with the coordinate information, bit of help from our little dog Millie, and then this is what the panel looked like in the end. Whoops, that's upside down. Never mind, you wouldn't have known if I didn't tell you. So changed it from one gang of switches all depended on one fuse to each one, removed all the bridges in between the switches. Again, this is what I get up to in my working week, showing off with a few squats up a set of stairs. Not bad for a 65-year-old, soon to be. And sometimes it's a bit of a problem getting to work here on the Sunshine Coast over this particular winter, which has been very, very wet indeed. I think I was stopped on 4 different occasions getting to the job. A little bit of reflection down on the southern coast of New South Wales. Here's some work that I've been doing on Dyneema cable attachment, different options, and this is what the standard winch came with, which is a clove hitch and a locking splice, and that's been tested, I believe, to enormous forces, and I've done my own testing and destroyed the winch, not the Dyneema. The first thing that failed was the drum. You can see how this has been distorted, and the side here has been pulled in this way. Second thing to fail was the teeth on the main sprocket, and you can see here they're distorted probably about 10 degrees in a clockwise direction. And then the third thing that failed is the spring steel split pin that goes through here, retaining pin, and that sheared. So I was cranking it on the 10-to-1 ratio, and there was a massive failure. But the Dyneema, which I've cut off here, has now been reused in another location because it didn't fail in any way whatsoever. Didn't even look close to it. So I don't know at what point it does fail. By the time I left it sitting on the trailer for a while, not too badly, so I attached another piece of Dyneema and dropped it down through the centre case slot, and that would enable me to get underneath. As it turned out, it wasn't that badly jammed, and it let go before I even had a chance to apply much in the way of force. The transom, typically on a boat like this, is like a sieve, and we cut it back, filled it. Dave resprayed the transom, and we relocated everything on there. You notice I'm bedding in with butyl mastic tape, and it seems like a very good solution to me. So this is how it all looked in the end, and pretty much ready to go back on the water, apart from some cosmetic stuff, particularly on the decks and the whole top side, all needing cutting back and repainting in places. So now, I introduced some LED lighting, which looks stunning and is very, very bright. And this is what she looks like underway, with access to the GPS system. And interesting thing happened while I was out on the water. There was a problem with the motor not going low enough, so we lowered it about 5 inches, and I was a bit worried it was going to get drowned in a following sea, but absolutely not the case. It's now well and truly got a good purchase on the water. So very interesting thing happened while I was out there contemplating the next move and some of the cosmetic stuff that you can see that's yet to be done on the deck. And I had a phone call which changed the direction I was taking, and I'm going to share more about that later. But for now, that's the status of the Sunmade project, and this week I'm going out with Bazza from 4 Drive Adventures for a shakeout sail in the Sunmade 20, and that will be on the southern part of the Bribie Passage. For now, bye, and do click on subscribe. You'll start to get a few more videos coming through soon, and this is not in real time, although it will be actually tomorrow that I have the shakeout sale, and then I'll be announcing a new and exciting adventure for the future. Don't forget to click on like and subscribe. That's what keeps the channel going.